Normally I record the videos vertically, but I'm recording this one horizontally. I think it'll be a clear breaking point and make it very clear on when I started changing things up. I have not recorded videos in God knows how long, and it's because I'm going to be honest, the narrative and discussion around the NBA has been very boring to me. And I am talking specifically on only the media's perspective on this. I think the league is fine. I think it's great. It's healthy. There are other things I would like to talk about the media, but that's just nothing to do with basketball. I'm gonna strictly talk about my playoff predictions this video. Maybe if this video does even semi well, and I could 5 views would be good for me. That would be nice. If I get 5 views, we'll talk about anything else. If I get one like that isn't mine, I'll talk about something else. But no, these are my Eastern Conference predictions. Honestly, it does not matter who comes out of the play-in. Yes, the play-in game, one play-in game has been played, and the 7 seeds both locked up their respective spot in the NBA. I'm gonna be 1,000 with you guys. I do not think that it matters who comes out of the 8th seed. They are not handling the 60-win juggernaut here out in the East, and they're not handling that 60-win juggernaut out there in the West. It's not gonna happen. If you predict it, you're going to lose your money. They're taking your money if you predict that. So let's just say where I am right now. Cleveland, if they play Atlanta, will probably be the most competitive series because let's be honest, Miami would just be blessed to be there. They're the 10th seed right now. They've been so bad at post Jimmy Butler trade that it's actually been ridiculous. And I knew that this was happen, but I didn't think it would be this bad considering they played without him most of the season. What happened? You were fine-ish without him. What happened? I have no idea. It's like since trading Jimmy Butler, the morale went down further. How? Literally how? I have no idea. I've accepted that Bam Adebayo is not going to be a good primary option, and I've accepted that Tyler Hero is probably going to be their primary option, which is not that good either. Offensively, this team has ceilings, and defensively, this team also has a ceiling. It's a mid-ball club. And without Jimmy Butler, who, quite frankly, we've all been thinking like, oh, I don't know how many years, for how many more years he's going to elevate a squad to be better than it is, to be way better than it is. I don't know how much longer. He's still doing that. He's still doing that. And if Miami had them, maybe it would be something to worry about. And maybe they wouldn't be the 10th seed, dog. But we don't live in that world. We live in this world. And they suck. They suck without him, all right? The amount of games they've lost since trading him. I'm only talking about since trading him. And this again, he wasn't playing for them since trading for him. That's it. They've lost a phenomenal amount of games. It's actually impressive how many games they've lost since getting rid of him. Anyway, aside of here nor there. Chicago, I think Chicago might beat them. Now, Chicago also has a tendency to lose these because in the playoffs, but they had Jimmy Butler back then, so I guess it's different, man. I guess they're completely different rosters by this point. Chicago's doing a pretty good job rebuilding. Let's look to the 2nd seed because let's be honest, this is what people want to hear. Boston versus Boston, not Miami. Ooh, Orlando, other Florida team, Orlando. So Orlando's matchup versus Boston is going to be very interesting, in my opinion, for a multitude of reasons. Number one, Orlando is one of the only teams in the NBA that actually plays Boston pretty tough. They're one of the only teams that actually beats Boston in the East and has a respectable record against them. I've seen them play against each other multiple times on TV, not in person. I don't know how to teleport. I'm sorry, guys. When I figure it out, I'll teleport and illegally watch the game in person. All right. I'll manifest probably the 3rd row. All right. Once I figure it out, all right. Not gonna take too long for me to figure that out. I'm a fucking genius, obviously. Anyway, Orlando versus Boston. What do I think? I think based on how they played in the play-in game, if they play like that, this will be a 5-game series. It'll be a 5-game series. 6 at the absolute most. 5 games in Boston's favor. I'm just going to be honest. Boston is a well-oiled machine. They might come out into the playoffs pretty slow. I could see that being an issue. And I can concede that. They're fairly healthy this year. Now, do I think they'll be healthy over an entire playoff run? Porzingis, probably not. I mean, it didn't happen last year. They didn't need him to win the championship last year, to be quite honest. But when he's playing, they're a much different ball club. I think that if they get the right matchup on Tatum, that his deficiencies still as a playmaker could be shown and exposed. They do this every year. Let's be honest. Do you know an Eastern Conference Finals without Boston? If you've been a basketball fan since 2018, excluding 2019, do you? Because like they've done this for years now. I'm numb to it. Like they can be there at any given point in time. I don't believe the Orlando Magic. See, I don't wholeheartedly believe the Orlando Magic could beat them in a series. I think the games could make you think that they could have beaten them. But the offensive liabilities that the Orlando Magic have, especially because they draw free throws. It's going to be hard to draw them against Boston, don't get it twisted, but I think their play style draws free throws. But that team in Boston, because they are going to have a home court advantage, is a bad home team. If we just look at their record, please look at their record. The numbers are going to back this up for me. They are a bad home team. Them having home court advantage might actually be a bad thing. Orlando is a solid road team. It's the playoffs, though. Keep that in mind. This could be very interesting. I feel like Boston will lose its second game somehow. I have no idea why I think that. I know they're not going to walk into the series and get punched in the mouth by Orlando. They might. It won't happen, but they might. Gee, this is the confidence that you guys are really inspired by, right, guys? The I'm standing behind my takes confidence, right? This is what you guys click on the videos for. Absolutely. Anyway, the next thing. So here's how it's gonna look on the court. Wendell Carter is going to have to guard Kristaps Porzingis on the perimeter. That is going to not work at all. It is not going to work. They don't have Jalen Suggs for Jrue Holiday, which I think that would be a very interesting matchup because both of them would be in a fucking straitjacket. It would be pretty funny to me, at the very minimum. Pablo is probably going to be matched up against Tatum, and you're probably going to have Franz on whatever power forward they decide to put on the court. Because let's be honest, it don't matter. It doesn't matter if Tatum is playing. If Tatum's playing the power forward position, you're still probably going to have Paulo on him. Franz is probably going to have to guard Brown. I don't think that's the world's greatest matchup, but I don't think it's the worst matchup in the world. I think defensively Brown will give him issues, and I think offensively Wagner could be something. Now, let's be completely honest. I'm talking about one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league versus one of the best three-point shooting teams in the league. And where the threes go is where the winnings go. So let's be honest. Unless the Boston Celtics become one of the streakiest teams, a streakier team than they really are, this is not going to be a very interesting series because they shoot the piss out of the ball, and shooting the piss out of the ball generally means you win. Sorry, don't know what to tell you. These are, by the way, I'm only doing first round predictions because this is going to be long as fuck. And I'm not going to be going as much detail as I will in the second round because there's less teams to cover. I can talk about them more. I'll have seen playoff basketball for my entire round of those teams. I'll have more to say about them. Duh. And the Western Conference video will be recorded directly after this one, so it'll probably be a double upload because that's pretty much what I do when it comes to East-West stuff. As far as the 360, this is the most interesting matchup here. Why do I am saying that, and why am I stamping it? Why am I definitely approved? This is the Pistons versus the New York Knicks. These teams are very interesting to me. Not just because they spent most of the 2000s the 2010s and a little bit of the 2000s sucking. There's nothing to do that. We're watching the renaissance of the Pistons, and we're watching the New York Knicks. Now, the New York Knicks are the power friendship team. The power friendship team, guys. We're going to watch the power friendship go against the new bad boy Pistons. Yeah, that's that shit. But on a realistic note, Cade versus Jalen Brunson in the playoffs. Hey, who's going to be that point guard that's in the top 10 not named Shea? Or Luka? You like that? That sounds fun, right? Jalen Duren and Beef Stew versus Karl Anthony Towns could get chippy. Ooh. They got their two shooting guards who are very important to the team, and even though media is never going to tell you that, I am. Yeah, Malik Beasley. Oh yeah, Malik Beasley versus Jalen. Versus Hart, bro. It's so interesting. Let's go. Playoff basketball back in New York. No, but seriously, this is going to be a good matchup. I think it's going to be a fun one. I'm clowning the two teams because it's like the media is going. This is how the media would cover the team. They're going to be like, this is a terrible thing. I'm here to tell you this will be a fun series. Obviously, you got two top 10-ish point guards going against each other, and I'm saying, and if not top 10, top 15 for sure, going against each other. You've got Cat, who will be playing against two bigs that I think actually can guard him in the post. I'm not sure what they can do with him on the perimeter. And then on top of that, you got some really hardworking guys in Jesus Christ, bro, my God, what is his name? I know his first name right now, and I can't think of it. Josh Hart, Jesus Christ, Josh Hart, and you got the motor, who has just as much motor as anyone from Detroit, which is funny because that's the Motor City, right, guys? We still call them the Motor City, right? They're still leading production in cars, right? No, they're not, obviously. Look at this team. Look at it. Mikal Bridges, who is the third option. I'm just gonna be completely honest. I think New York has way too much offense to lose in the first round. I think they have too much offense to lose in the first round. But Detroit's defense and offense are actually pretty impressive. And I've seen them play without Cade, and I'm going to be completely honest. With the way they play without Cade, dog, you would never even know he was their best player. Like, you would know he's their best player, but god damn it if they haven't been doing a really good job. They're well coached. I think they're really ready for the moment. I think Bickerstaff has been making them ready for this all year. I'm just going to be honest. And if you see the Pistons advance after a hearty 7 games, do not be surprised. And if you see New York advance after a hearty 7 games, don't be surprised. Because I think this is the only series that'll, in the first round, in my opinion, only series in the first round, in the East at least, that will go 7 games. I'm stamping it. I'm labeling it now. 7 games, Detroit, New York, bam. All right, now if I've already talked about them and I'm like, oh, this is the most hyped one. Let's go to some money, yay. 4-5 seed, not New York, Jesus Christ. 4-5 seed, Milwaukee Bucks, Indiana Pacers. Is this getting the panties dripping? Probably not. If you're a real hooper, you really like basketball. What are you thinking about this series? Well, in my opinion, I'm just like, I think Milwaukee will go home in the first round against the Pistons. Not the Pistons, the Pacers for the second time in 2 years. If I had a nickel for every time the Pacers sent the Milwaukee Bucks home in the first round, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice in a row. Yeah, I was supposed to be doing Dr. Doofenshmirtz, but it came out as Grover from Sesame Street, so leave me my terrible Doofenshmirtz impersonation alone, alright? There's a lot of dead space in this video. I'm completely aware of that, but that is how life is. Tis what it is, and I refuse to edit out the dead space because it would be really complicated and not very pleasurable. I don't want to do it. So like Milwaukee and the Pacers, what do I think about this series? I think this can go 6 games. Giannis is gonna get his numbers. Obviously, there's absolutely zero resistance that can stop him from getting his numbers. He's gonna average 30 in the playoffs, and it's gonna be a pretty good. It's gonna be a pretty efficient 30. Not as efficient as it's been in the regular season, but it's gonna be a pretty efficient 30. Tyrese Halliburton has awakened and leveled up and gamer fueled himself to become a really good basketball player again, and not the guy who we were looking at the beginning of the year like, dude, you're only averaging 18 points on worse shooting splits than last year. What's going on? And this year he's become 20 and 10 man on really good efficiency again. I'm not surprised that Tyrese Halliburton got back to where he was supposed to be. I'm not. Does this make him a top 10 player like a lot of people were saying at the beginning of last year? Probably not. Normally, I side with the team that has the top 10 player on it in the playoffs brackets, but it's Milwaukee. They have Doc Rivers as their coach. They're not doing anything. If you believe in this team, you are believing in the wrong guy. You're backing the wrong horse. In this case, Stag, whatever you want to call them. They are not going to beat them. It's not happening. If you really want it to happen, maybe wish upon a star. But in reality, not going to happen. They're not going to beat the Pacers. Not without Dame. By the way, Dame is, in case you have missed it because I haven't been covering it, Dame is gone because season is pretty much over. He's had a blood clot in his leg, I think. Not sure which leg it is, but I'm pretty sure it's his leg. And as far as Chris Middleton, he got traded for Kyle Kuzma, so oh my god, Kyle Kuzma sucks, by the way. He sucks. He shouldn't even be able to get minutes on this team in a playoff rotation, in my opinion. But they're going to be forced to play him, and I think that's the thing that people have been just completely ignoring about this matchup. They have Kyle Kuzma on the squad. Yuck. Disgusting. But if we're looking at this team holistically, Miles Turner is going to be pretty good. I think that's a pretty good matchup for Brook Lopez. I think they're pretty much the exact same guy. They're the Spider-Man pointing image. That's who are you supposed to be? And it's like, who are you supposed to be? They're the same guy. Pretty similar talents as far as their like spacing on the three-point floor and their defense that has been okay as of late, because let's be honest, these guys are getting older and older and older and older. And Brook Lopez used to be a face-up mid-range post center with no defense. Who would have thought he would have been in the NBA this long? Let alone the transformation this game would have taken. Not I. Not me. That's it. You think I'm gonna talk about this team any longer? No, I refuse. No more. That being said, if you liked the video, like it, and if you didn't like the video, I understand why you didn't like the video, but I'm gonna need you to like it anyway. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to hold you hostage.